Hello everyone, my name is Kumar Singh. Today I am going to present on the PPT metabolism, which is the part of our TA. So my roll number is 053, and starting with the metabolism, the introduction is the metabolism is term is used to describe the interconvention of the chemical compound in the body, the pathway taken by the individual molecules, their relationship, and the mechanism that regulate the flow of metabolites through the pathway. It can be categorized into three different ways. First is the catabolism, second is the anabolism, and amphibolytic pathway. So let's talk about more about that's different categories. So anabolic pathway are involved in the synthesis of the large and more complex compound from the smallest residue. Example, synthesis of the protein and the amino acid. And the third is anabolic pathway and endothermic. Catabolic pathway involves in the breakdown of the large molecules commonly involved in oxidative reaction. They are the exothermic and reducing the equivalent and the mainly via the respiratory chain. And the third one is the amphibolic pathway occur at the crossroad of metabolism, acting as the link between the anabolic and the catabolic pathway. For example, citric cycles. Let's talk more about the metabolism. A 70 kg adult human being requires about 1920 to 2900 calories for the metabolic fuels each day, depending on the physical activity. This energy required is made from the carbohydrates, which are the 40 to 60%, and the lipids mainly 30 to 40%, and protein from 10 to 50%. There are the constant requirement for metabolic fuel throughout the day. Most people consume their daily intake of metabolic fuel the 2 or 3 meals. So there is a need to be from the reverse. So what is the reverse process? So the reverse of the metabolism is first the carbohydrates, glycogen in the liver and the muscles. Second is the lipid, and third the liveal protein. If the intake of the metabolic fuel is consistently greater than If the intake of the metabolic fuel is consistently greater than the energy expenditure, the sulfurous is stored largely as the triglycerol in adipose tissue and leading to the development of obesity. If the intake of metabolic fuel is consistently lower than the energy expenditure, the reverse of the fat and the carbohydrates. Also, the amino acid are used for the energy yielding metabolism. This lead to an emaciation, wasting, and eventually death. So here is the diagram of the metabolism, how they are categorized in the different types. So now the second topic is the carbohydrate metabolism. So mainly the glucose is the major fuel in the most of the tissue, and the metabolized to persuade aerobically and lactate the anaerobically by the pathway of the glycolysis, which further gets reduced to acyl CoA. Enter the citric acid cycle formation of the ATP in the process of oxidative and the phosphorylation. Here is the chart of the how the diet converted into glucose and then it's converted into the citric acid cycle. And more about that, glucose may also undergo glycolysis, synthesis of the storage polymer glycogen in the skeletal muscle and the liver. It may also enter the pentose phosphate and pathway. They are the source of reducing the equivalents from the fatty acid synthesized. And the second is the ribose for the nucleotide and the nucleic acid synthase. Pyruvates and the intermediates of the citric acid cycle, that are the carbon skeleton for the synthesis of non-essential amino acid. Acetyl CoA is the procedure of the fatty acid and the cholesterol. And the third is the gluconeosis, the process of synthesizing the glucose from the non-carbohydrate procedures such as the lactose, amino acid, and the glycerol. The third topic is the lipid metabolism. That are the source of the long chain fatty acid, either dietary lipids or the novo synthesized from the acetyl CoA. The fatty acid may either get oxidized to acetyl CoA, beta oxidation, or esterified with the glycerol, forming tricycloglycerol body main fuel, that are the reverse. More about the lipid metabolism, that are the acetyl CoA formed by the beta oxidation of the fatty acids may undergo three fates. First is the oxidized via citric acid cycle. Second is the procedure for synthesis of the cholesterol and the other steroids. And third, in the liver, it is used to form the ketone bodies. Here is the diagram. Again, the diet process go to the amino acid, and it's a cyclic process of how it go to tissue proteins and non-proteins, and the transmission of all that and conversion of the citric acid cycle. So now the our another topic is amino acid metabolism. So amino acid forms metabolic intermediates by the transmission using the amino groups from one other amino acids. Deamination is the removal of amino acid nitrogen as the urea via urea cycle. And the third is the carbon skeleton that remains after transmission, which are oxidized via the citric acid cycle used to synthesize glucose and form the ketone bodies or acetyls. Amino acid may also procedures of the other compound like first purines and the pyrimidines, hormones such as the epinephrines and thyroids, and the last is the neurotransmitters. Thank you.